Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of Formula 1 2018 Career Mode. There was a bit of a delay due to an uploading issue that I've had from episode 1 to 2, but we're now finally here for the second episode for the Bahrain Grand Prix. This is a track that I usually struggle at quite a bit. This is one of my worst tracks. Hungary is another one I struggle at, so this is not an event I was coming into looking forward to, but obviously we're going to do the best we can. We're probably slated for like a 4th or 5th place finish, and as we came straight to qualifying, we made it to Q3, and we were sitting P6 in our first attempt, and I came through to make a second attempt here in Q3. This is actually the worst lap I had set all of qualifying so far, so I was really trying to improve. And as we came down through the second sector, coming in towards the final sector, closing in on Nico Hulkenberg there in the Renault. Now as he moves over to the right to get out of my way, actually a really good spot for him to move, so we were just coming through the bends, trying to get through the best we could. And as we came through the final corner, we were up by almost half a second, a little bit of oversteer on the exit of the corner, and that slowed me down a little bit, but it wouldn't matter too much as we would come across the line, go P5 for the moment, and then obviously we would call it there. Not a good effort for myself like I was expecting coming into the Bahrain Grand Prix, and we will start in the, I believe, 6th position, because I think Max Verstappen would come through and beat my lap as well. And there you see, he did beat us, so we will start P6 going into the race. So let's go see what we can do. We're going to aim for a 4th place finish in this Grand Prix. I think that's probably the best we'll be able to do unless someone else up ahead has trouble. So let's go see if we can improve our position in the Bahrain Grand Prix.
There's something in the Bahrain air tonight, and I'm not just talking about the sand. Our brightest minds have thrust their brightest ideas into the spotlight of the Sakhir circuit this evening as we look ahead once more to a Grand Prix that has thrilled us so consistently in the past. Formula 1 returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36-mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and 2 DRS zones will help with that as well. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakhir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Bahrain has showed us many times in the past, though, Anthony Davidson, that a good strategy will only take you so far. Beyond that, you need good racecraft and you need good consistency.
And a little bit of luck too, I'd say. This is one of those circuits where the safety car always seems to come out just at the right time to condense the field together and mix up the cars on different strategies. It's hard on brakes, it's tough on fuel, and the main overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1, where it's easy to outbrake your opponent and potentially have a bit of argy-bargy as well.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen, the Rainmaster, Hulkenberg, Perez, Sainz, and Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, and Grosjean, Gasly, Van Dorn, Brendan Hartley, and Marcus Ericsson. Sirotkin and Lance Stroll rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Alright, there you hear it from Crofty and Davidson now, as there was a grid place penalty actually here, just the second race of the season, as we get ready to go. There's the strategy, so we're starting on the super soft, and then we're going to do a 2-stop for both soft tires on each stop as we get ready to start the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now here in Bahrain, Lewis Hamilton on the pole, Vettel, our teammate, in second as there's 5 red lights behind the 2 Red Bulls, and it's lights out and away we go. Lewis Hamilton leads the way as we go down to turns 1. A poor start for myself as we had a little bit of wheel spin, and that allows Nico Hulkenberg to try and get alongside me on the left-hand side as we go a little bit easy into turns 1. Both Mercedes cars overtake Vettel, so now we got Mercedes 1-2 between Hamilton and Bottas now as we come up through towards the end of the first sector. A chance to get to the right-hand side of Nico Hulkenberg, and we're going to take that opportunity as we go up in the inside of him through the corner, and he is going to back out of the position, and we get a lot of oversteer on the exit of the corner, but we are fortunate to hang on it as we go into the S's. And by the time we came towards the 3rd sector, the 2 Red Bulls were battling side by side as we came into the left-hander, and they make a little bit of contact, and now we're going to go to the left-hand side of Verstappen, and we're going to get past him, and Ricciardo comes over towards me, and we have to go off track to not run into the side of him, and that was certainly a close call between myself and the Australian now as we come through right on his gearbox, having to get right on the brakes there. I almost drove into the back of Ricciardo there as we come down the straightaway, heading towards the last corner. We look to his left-hand side as we head down to the last corner here to complete this first lap. lap as Ricciardo's going to stick it back up the inside as we almost make contact there. Wheel to wheel as we do make a little bit of contact now as we come down the front straightaway to come through to complete this first lap as we put it into overtake there, trying to pull ahead of Daniel Ricciardo in the Red Bull now as his teammate Verstappen is going to send it up his right side as we head down towards turns 1, and finally we get clear of the 2 Red Bulls after just 1 lap, and we're up into our goal position already as Lewis Hamilton dropped down to P3 on this opening lap. He is on a softer tire, or a slower tire, sorry, on the soft compound, so he might be lacking the speed here at the early part, but he really might be benefiting from that later in the race. Obviously now on lap 3 we had Max Verstappen a few car lengths behind me, just kind of lurking behind, trying to make me maybe possibly make a mistake and help him get to position, and he was really at the early point of this race the only driver that could stick with me now here as we come through the S's, getting a little bit on that curve there, but we were okay as we come through the right-hander now, just trying to stretch the gap out between myself and Verstappen, but he was doing a great job sticking with me in this first run. But as we came to lap 5, we started to stretch out the gap between myself and Verstappen a bit, and we kind of started creating an island of our own. Hamilton up ahead, he was long gone, several seconds up there. You see him in the frame, so we certainly don't really have anyone at this point in the race challenging me, as Ricciardo started to run down his teammate of Verstappen behind, so they started getting into it maybe a little bit there as they were on each other's gearboxes, as we were losing a good amount of time to Lewis Hamilton, 3.8 seconds back. Obviously, like I said, I don't have the most speed at this track, certainly a track I struggle in, as we came to lap 7, continuing to increase the gap between myself and the 2 Red Bull drivers behind, but Lewis Hamilton, he was increasing the gap between himself and I, so obviously, like I said, just on an island of our own at this point here in the Grand Prix, just kind of managing my race at this point. Obviously, it doesn't look like we're going to have the speed to get a podium unless one of the drivers up ahead has trouble, but it certainly looks like we have the speed to at least hold on to a 4th place finish here in this Grand Prix if we don't make any silly mistakes. And by the time we came to lap 8, the tires were pretty worn, and I decided, okay, we're going to make a pit stop. Our teammate Vettel had already come into pit, and so did Valtteri Bottas, so we decided it's our turn to come to pit road. A little bit of oversteer on the last corner, but we come to pit road now, bringing in the car for the soft tire as we get down to the pit speed and come towards our team as they're out and ready to put on the soft tire for our first of 2 stops on the day. We have the Red Bull behind us coming in as well. I believe it might be Verstappen as we exit the pit box, and away we go, and it is indeed Max Verstappen who did come to pit lane with us now, as there was a 2.6 second stop for the team, so nothing to be too ashamed of now, as we still have 1.6 extra laps of fuel, so we're certainly going to have to turn that up as we exit the pit lane and try to build up a gap between myself and Verstappen. A pretty clear track for myself on the exit now, as no one was around, but Daniel Ricciardo was all over the gearbox of Verstappen as he had caught him, as he had already pitted as well, and Verstappen put on the super soft tire instead of putting on the soft, so maybe an interesting strategy from the Red Bull driver now, as we sit still in the 8th position now, as we obviously have to nurse our way through the cars up ahead to get back into that 4th position. They will be making a pit stop. They're obviously on a one-stop strategy up ahead as we get onto that curb quite a bit there, and certainly have a moment as we manage to hang on to the car though, and certainly these cold tires allowed Verstappen to close right up on me, but by the time we came to lap 11 we had pulled away again, and we had run down Van Dorn as we looked to his right hand side as we approached the 3rd sector, making the move on his outside, and we would be able to easily get ahead of him and take over the position. And next up ahead was the Sauber driver of Marcus Ericsson, obviously no longer in Formula 1 this season in real life, as he moved over to IndyCar for Schmidt Peterson Racing, I believe is their team name now, as we head down towards the final corner, just slowly clicking off these positions through these guys on the one-stop strategy now, as Ericsson, he would stay out for this lap, and we would be able to get past him in the other cars and move back into the 4th position as they had all come to pit road at this point. We actually had Bottas on pit road, and we would overtake him as he put on the medium tire, as he's obviously going to the end. He's definitely going to be able to get back past me without any trouble once we come to pit road. Obviously at this point lap 16 approaching our pit window once again, and by the time we came to lap 19 I decided it's our time now to come in to make our 2nd and hopefully final pit stop of the day, unless something goes wrong now as we head down to the pit lane to come through to make our final pit stop. Bottas is already up into the 3rd position as our teammate Sebastian Vettel had once again come to pit road, and he was going to come through to pass me, as well as he was right behind Valtteri Bottas, as Lewis Hamilton at this point is in the lead. He is on the medium tire on the one-stop strategy, so he is in great position to probably win this Grand Prix now, as we have just 10 laps to go in this event, as we had another 2.694 second pit stop as we exit the pit lane, still in fourth. So a good stop and a good in lap, and hopefully we can have a good out lap here now, as we have no pressure from behind. And like I said, just kind of the story of our races, we've been on a bit of an island by ourselves throughout the majority of this race, as Charles Leclerc was behind me there in the 5th position in the Sauber. Hopefully in F1 2019 we can work our way up to be teammates with him in the future now, as we have a lot of cool tires here, so certainly some struggling with oversteer here and there, and then a little bit of understeer at times as well, as you see through the S's. So just trying to get these tires warmed up, and we would obviously get them warmed up now, as Daniel Ricciardo on lap 22 would end up coming down with a mechanical issue, which would slow him down a bit. Obviously, the Australian driver, he is used to having some type of mechanical issue by now. Last season in real life was an absolutely horrible season when it came to issues with the car for Daniel Ricciardo. Now, as we come up through to hit the 3rd sector here, just not many laps to go at this point. Lewis Hamilton trying to hold on to victory, and our teammate Sebastian Vettel carrying the Ferrari flag for the 2nd straight race now in Bahrain, as obviously he won in Australia. It doesn't look like Sebastian is going to come through to get the victory today in Bahrain, but hopefully he can at least hold on to a podium. And by the time we came to lap 26, coming through into turns 1, still in the 4th position, Bottas up ahead in the medium tires. We have our first DNF of the race, actually, and it'd be Roman Grosjean who would pull over to the side of the track with a blown engine, I believe, and so he would get out of the way as he got passed by the McLarens, and we would continue on. Obviously, no safety car, no virtual safety car or anything. 2 races in, still no safety car yet. Safety car is certainly something I don't see often in this game at all, unfortunately. Now it's certainly a bit bugged in this game since it came out now, and as we approach the final lap in this race, still the same situation, nobody around us. Perez actually in the Force India, or Racing Point you want to call it now, sits in the 5th position, so a great day for him in this race now, as Lewis Hamilton at this point is in command as he tries to hold on for the victory here in Bahrain. Has actually turned up the ERS to hot lap, trying to see if I could set the fastest lap, which was pretty unrealistic as I just didn't feel like I had the pace, as we get a lot of oversteer there, and that would pretty much ruin our lap there, as we are still 2 tenths up, and as I make a mistake again through the S is not what we need to be doing now as we head down towards the later half of the 2nd sector of this course. Oversteer once again as Lewis Hamilton's getting ready to take the checkered flag here in Bahrain, and he's going to try and tie up the championship with our teammate Sebastian Vettel as he comes through the final corner. Lewis Hamilton trying to make this championship run known, as he will come through to win his first race of the season in the Bahrain Grand Prix. A great finish for Lewis Hamilton now, as our teammate Sebastian Vettel would come through to finish in the 2nd position, as we have a big moment there through the 3rd sector. A ton of oversteer where you get very fortunate to hang on to the car, but I call it right there. I say, okay, we're turning the ERS down, and we don't need to do something like that again, as Valtteri Bottas would come through to finish in the 3rd, the final position on the podium, and we would come through the final corner just taking it easy there as the fireworks go up above. A beautiful sight here in Bahrain as we come through to at least hold on to a 4th place finish, which is certainly nothing to be disappointed about. I knew we were going to struggle in this event, and I felt like we did a great job holding on and at least getting a 4th place finish.
And Mercedes have pulled off a great victory here today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
Sure would have been nice if we could have been one of those drivers on the podium, but Lewis Hamilton comes out here with the victory. Our teammate Sebastian Vettel carries the Ferrari flag to bring home a second place finish, so at least a decent day for Ferrari. We did gain 2 positions there from where we started, 1, 2, 3, finished where they started, obviously, there, as we have our finishing order up on the screen. Roman Grosjean, the only DNF in this race, and there you see the point standings. So we have Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel tied for the lead, and myself and Bottas tied for third as we go in through, or look through the rest of the standings now, as we also get to look at the constructors standings real quick, and it's once again a tie between Mercedes and Ferrari, so certainly going to be a dogfight here between the 2 top teams of Mercedes and ourselves at Ferrari, so hopefully we can help our team get those points that we need to win the Constructors' Championship, and hopefully maybe we can have a chance at winning the Drivers' Championship later in the season now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be incredibly appreciated. Next episode, we will be going to the Chinese Grand Prix, a track that I thoroughly enjoy running at. I'm not a fan of the track, but I enjoy racing there because I'm usually pretty good there. So hopefully we can have a chance next episode of maybe getting a victory for the first time in our Formula 1 career. So I will see you guys in the next episode. We will be making an upgrade or 2 going into the Grand Prix, so let's see if those are successful. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.